Athletic, bold, and commanding. That is the Chevy Equinox EV. Chevy presents our entire show, the entire podcast. We got a big one today. Announcement, which is that the Cypress Point video today, Tuesday, is coming out on YouTube. You're going to see some clips. You've probably already seen a teaser, but one of the coolest things that's ever happened for us is just to be there in general. It's Cypress. It's a top, whatever you want to call it, 3 course on planet Earth in the history of golf. It's Alistair McKenzie. It's old school, iconic. It's got great history. And then it's also not just that incredible architecture in Monterey going through the trees, but there's just a handful of holes that are on the ocean, on the cliffs, the rocks, the waves crashing. And it's all brought to you in partnership with the USGA. The Walker Cup is coming up September 6th and 7th. All kinds of TV coverage on NBC and on Peacock throughout those 2 days. And it's the best amateurs from the U.S. and Great Britain and Ireland going at each other. So again, Walker Cup, it's their version for the amateurs of the Ryder Cup. And the fact that it's being played at Cypress is off the charts. Such a testament to the USGA combining and partnering with Cypress Point. And then the fact that we got to go out there and play our own balls, film it, compete against each other at such an iconic place was maybe the coolest experience we've ever had. That didn't include anyone else. It didn't include Tiger Woods or Rory or Scottie. It's like, or Tommy, which we talk about a lot of the show. Just us at this unbelievable place, and the views and the picture and the footage and all of it is as cool as it gets for us.
Yeah, we do not take this lightly. It's a huge moment for us. This is something that we genuinely cannot believe happened to us. You know, this is as high as you can go in the game of golf, aside from playing Augusta National. Like, this is it. Like, we played Cypress. We got it on camera in our world, in our job, what we do, what brings food on our table and pays our bills. Like, the fact that it's gotten us to the point of filming at Cypress, like, that is a pinnacle in our job. That's a peak. And it's all thanks to the USGA and the Walker Cup, and hopefully everyone watches the Walker Cup at this iconic venue. And the fact that we got to go out there and that this video will live on for the rest of our lives. I am thinking through like certain shots that I hit that I'll be able to go back and just watch on YouTube. It's not something I have to dig into my phone and I have to try and find it to send someone. Like, I can just throw it up on my TV for the rest of my time, for my son, for my kids, for my grandchildren to watch. I played Cypress Point, and it meant so much to me, and it meant so much to you guys. And we got to play a match. We got to do our own style there. It wasn't like, hey, you guys have to do this specific thing. We just did a foreplay video out there, and that's the most impressive part to me. We played a match. We wanted to win like that. There's so many things that could have went wrong, and it didn't. And I'm so proud of the fellas and the camera guys and everyone, Brendan Jones, everybody that edited it, Kyle, Jared, all the guys on the ones and twos that helped us through this thing. It was it's an amazing accomplishment and big feat, and it's all thanks to the USGA, like we said, and obviously Chevy. All of this all comes back to our big sponsors and our partners that get us from point A to point B. Thank you to you guys for making this happen and letting us live out our dreams. That's really what it is. We're living out our dreams, playing Cypress Point, putting out videos, having fun with our friends. It's amazing stuff. So go watch it and let us know what you think.
All brought to you by Chevy. Like I said, big show too. Tommy Fleetwood. We get into like an hour talking about Ryder Cup, Keegan Bradley. What should you do? We jump sides, all kinds of it. So awesome show brought to you by Chevy and the Equinox EV, which got a massive 17-inch diagonal center screen. It's the largest of any EV in its class. When it comes to EVs, the Chevy Equinox EV is the smartest choice you can make.
You got to take risks is my point. Like, I'm done playing scared. I play scared too much in my life. Like, I play scared way too much. Like, at some point, the data needs to be thrown out the window, and you just got to grab your ball sack and just go to war. And that's what Keegan's probably going to do. He's going to fucking grab his American nutsack, and he's going to go to war against the Europeans.
Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. This will be forever known as the Tommy Fleetwood Show, one of our great friends in the world of golf, one of the most rooted for people in the world of golf. Heartbreak after heartbreak this year. It's been pretty wild to think about how long Tommy Fleetwood has been on the scene. I guess it was the 2018 maybe U.S. Open at Shinnecock, where he shot like 63 in the final round and barely didn't win that tournament. And now here we are this long into it. And Tommy finally is a PGA Tour winner. He said at the beginning of the week how funny it would be if the first win that he ever got on tour was basically winning the entire season, which is Eastlake, which is a $10 million first place prize. He did it. It was insanely nerve wracking coming down the stretch. If you're watching with anyone, there are multiple people in the group that were like, there's no way he gets this done. He never gets this done. He's going to hit in the water on 15. There's a lot to go through, but I think in terms of just universal happiness, we had LeBron James, Caitlin Clark, Tiger Woods, all kind of tweeting about it. We had Tigers tweet about resilience, which I love that I want to get into. Justin Rose is standing around taking cell phone footage with a huge smile on his face. So, one of the good guys, one of the people that everybody roots for, maybe our favorite professional golfer, maybe outside of like Kiz or Joel Damon that we actually like truly hang out with. Tommy Fleetwood's from England. He lives over in Dubai, so we don't get to hang out with him as much as we would like to. But when we do, he's just the fucking man. And he broke through and won. And it was impossible not to just have a big smile on your face watching that.
Yeah, I don't think you could find a more celebrated winner. Like you were saying, LeBron, everybody, Caitlin Clark, even in the Barstool world, Paul Bissonnette, PFT, everybody was pulling for this guy. And you're right, man. We are huge Tommy Fleetwood fans. Every time I see that guy, I feel like he's just a guy that I've known my entire life. We get along great. We had the video come out a couple weeks ago or a month ago where we did the 2v2v2 match, and I was teamed up with Tommy, and we were dominant and we won. And did that propel him to this PGA Tour win? I don't know. I'll let everybody else decide, but he really is one of the really, really good guys in golf. I mean, man, I just love the guy, and I was really happy for him. I'm back in Iowa. I was hanging with my parents yesterday, and they were rooting for him. They love Tommy. They've watched all the videos that we've done with him. Yeah, you just can't find a more popular guy. And the heartbreak is a big part of it. I think without those heartbreaks, there's not as many Tommy Fleetwood fans. So you got to go through the shit and the losses and the heartbreak and the choking, if you want to call it that. And then to come out the other side and get this huge win at the Tour Championship, it was a real joy to watch. I will say down the stretch, watching Tommy, he seemed miserable. He was just holding on because that he knows everyone is like, oh, I bet Tommy gives this up. I bet Tommy gives this up. We were all rooting for him, but the narrative out there is like, oh, at the end, he kind of gives these things away. He had that 3-stroke lead. Patrick Cantlay was right there. And he just looked miserable until the last putt dropped and he did his post-round interviews where he finally smiled. Up until that point, he just looked miserable. But I'm so happy for Tommy and everybody. And yeah, it's a big day, and we all love Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah, because until that last putt drops, the norm for Tommy Fleetwood is it goes bad. That becomes the norm. I mean, all the stats, 29 top 10, 29 top fives, close to 40 top 10s without winning. Like the numbers started to get outrageous. He's a historical real close guy and never win. So you can't tell me that doesn't creep into the back of his mind every time he's trying to close out a tournament, because he literally had never done it before successfully. So to see him get over that hump and to see him just kind of take that deep sigh and that huge yes at the very, very end, he hugs his stepson, the whole entire deal. He's got that big, beautiful smile that we've come to love. Every time we go to TaylorMade Media Day, he's always the most welcoming and the most charming and the most just warm person you could possibly be around. He wants to know about where we're at in our business and our lives, and he asks questions, and he's very, very thoughtful. And he said in his interview that his dad taught him to be a better person, then a better golfer second. So, I mean, you could just see that just resonates through him with everything he does. The guy had never won a PGA Tour event. He's one of the most favorite. He's got the most fans on tour. It's like, that is not, the norm. That is very, very unique for people to not really rag on him for losing. They're just rooting for him. Think about that. Like the public perception for Tommy wasn't to make fun of him for losing. It was always like, God, we want him to win. And that, in like this day and age with trolls and all these things on the internet, that is a very, very unique thing. The fact that the consensus was, we can't wait for him to win. And if he finished in second in heartbreak, we felt bad for him. We didn't make fun of him. We never made him the butt of the joke. It was always like, we're going to get this at some point. And that just speaks to the type of person Tommy is. Everyone that watches him, everyone that hears him say just one word knows that he is a good, genuine guy. He said that because of his family situation and how good his family is and how great his life is in Dubai and in England and all of the things that he set up for himself, that losing always was a little bit easier than people thought from the outside looking in, that he was able to go home and still be Tommy Fleetwood with his family and still have the life that he always dreamed of. And the winning just wasn't coming. And he knew that it would come at some point. And that to me is like the greatest mindset. Like he was always a winner in his mind, regardless, which is the way you got to go about it. And it is easy, right? I mean, the guy makes millions and millions of dollars finishing T3, T4, T10. When you're not a winner in golf, you're still a fucking winner, man. Like that's something that people need to understand. You know, Patrick Cantlay like was up there to win the FedEx Cup championship. The guy hasn't won in how many months? It's been like 3 years. Like that guy just keeps racking in the money. You don't think Patrick Cantlay's happy? Joey LaCava's out here probably freaking riding boats around Connecticut. I mean, like that guy is just an ATM machine. So like if you don't win, it doesn't mean that you're unsuccessful in golf.
Yeah. And that was a huge part of Tommy's. I watched his whole press conference last night. I love those press conferences when they really just kind of, especially in that type of like euphoria where they've done it. They've got the relief and they're super honest and candid in those moments now because there's really nothing to hide. There's nothing to protect any of that. And hearing him talk about his perspective, hearing him talk about his stepson coming out there and him being like, yeah, honestly, if I had lost, it wouldn't have been that different. I still would have like seen my stepson. We would have had a lovely evening. It would have been heartbreaking for me because I want to win. But at the end of the day, like my life is incredible. And he had been saying throughout, and it's always tough in these post-round interviews when he, you know, Travelers was the hardest one, as he said, where he just kind of blew it on 18 in such a like visceral, tangible way. But again, at the FedEx St. Jude, and he was saying afterwards, like, well, I would rather be here where I'm like barely losing than be someone that's not in contention, because that means I'm doing it. I'm playing great golf, and that's like way more fun and exciting and the whole deal. And so, you know, part of you as a sports fan, everyone's different. Everybody responds to things differently. But as a fan, you think every time one of these happens, does it build more and more scar tissue? And you get into a Rory situation, you're getting into a Tommy situation where it's like, okay, the first time that you're in contention, you know, you've got all new nerves. It's almost fresh blood. It's almost like you're young and you're fiery and you're risk taker, and it doesn't affect you as much. And sometimes you see people just barrel through what would be like these barriers to getting it done. And as you get through it year after year, it starts to creep in. And he mentioned it. He's like, the doubt does start to creep in, and you start, you know, he's like, my swing wasn't quite there after the fifth hole. I hooked a drive on 10, and I'm standing there thinking about my sequencing is off. And he's like, you're trying to be like, okay, how can I learn from what I've done prior to get this done, instead of having your mind go to negative places? And as guys that have played golf on camera many times, we've had good moments. We've had a ton of terrible moments. It's like incredible how your brain takes over. You're not fighting the golf course, you're fighting yourself. That's what Rory said after the Masters. Like, no offense to Bryson, no offense to Justin Rose, I wasn't competing against those guys. I was competing against myself. And you, Trent, nailed it, where it's like, dude, you're watching Tommy Fleetwood compete against himself. And like when he stood on that 15th tee, he has said multiple times that he does not like that hole. He's like, it doesn't suit up well for my shape, for my visual. It's already a really hard shot. All of that, and he took forever to kind of hit that shot on 15. I think Bones chimed in and was like, there's a lot of tension out here right now. He just was like, he had doubled it the day before, and you could feel that. It's why golf, like closing out golf tournaments, can be the best television ever. It's why Dave Portnoy himself is like, I tune in just for the collapses, because you get it in golf so much more real than you get it in a lot of other sports. And for him to pull through at a difficult kind of golf course, I know it was lift clean in place. That was helping a little bit. The scores were lower than they are a lot of the time. But if you're missing fairways, that rough is brutal. There is water all over the place on coming home. That 18th hole can either be easy or a disaster. 15 is one swing away from a auto double for everybody, and he knows that. And for him to make those back-to-back birdies on like 11 or maybe 12 and 13 was phenomenal. He's pouring those putts right in the middle. It was fucking awesome to see, man. I thought he handled himself incredibly well, and to like have the perspective that he has and get all of it done, it was just so easy to root for. And I know one quick story I've got from him is like Mike Essie from TaylorMade has come and we've done a Pinehurst trip in April the last couple of years. And he goes from basically the Masters, I believe, is where Essie goes, like Augusta and all that, to rolls over to Pinehurst. We go with a couple of my buddies, And Mike Essie is always the guy taking videos of these guys in like their practice rounds. And when you see like 3 holes with Tommy Fleetwood at Eastlake, it's like he's always out there. And I remember like we got there, we're like midway through our first round, and Tommy Fleetwood was on the range about to tee off at like the RBC Heritage or something. And he's literally texting Mike Essie, like, how's the round going? How's your swing going? Like, what's going on with that move that we talked about? And Essie's like, dude, I'm like 3 over through 6, but I think I found something. And he's like, dude, Tommy is literally invested in what Mike Essie is doing with his golf game in like Pinehurst while he's supposed to be getting ready for a tour event, because he truly does care about other people so much. So he's just the man, and it was very cool to see him get it done.
Might be why it took him so long to get the win. He's caring about Mike Essie's round. I'm just kidding.
He needs to lock in a little bit.
That's just the guy he is, man. Like when we go to TaylorMade Media Day, he's the one that like waits for us in the lobby and hugs us hello and like asks us, like I said off the top, he wants to know about our lives, and that just resonates with people and like humans, for that human to human, you know, contact where you're like, oh, you're actually a person. It's not just this is a media obligation and you walk by in the lobby and we kind of stare at you like you're unapproachable. He's the one that basically opens the door for us and is like, welcome guys, welcome down to Jupiter. Can't wait to see you. Can't wait until, you know, until we do the videos that we have tomorrow. So it just gets you excited to see him. And yeah, if you go back and look, I think we've done the most videos of Tommy Fleetwood than any other professional golfer. I think that's like by a landslide, right? I mean, it's got to be like 7 or 8 videos on our YouTube channel with Tommy Fleetwood.
And then think about the videos of whenever we sell merch at a PGA Tour event, he's like, bring me one of those, bring me a medium, bring me a large. And just like, I'll wear it. Dude, the year or two ago at the Players Championship, every time he arrived at the golf course, he was wearing a Barstool golf hoodie that we gave
100
him.
degrees.
100 degrees. And that's just, he's like, I like you guys. I want to wear your stuff. I want to represent. That really is the kind of guy that he is.
He also wore, in that Ryder Cup documentary, he was wearing the like Common Man Country Club hoodie in the like interview confessional part of that Una Familia sick like Ryder Cup documentary. He's just rocking our hoodie in that. So God, man, he's just a good dude. Do you
guys remember our beginning with him? Like that, it was real rocky.
Beach.
Real rocky. Dude,
yeah, you took a risk. You took a risk and it didn't land.
We're still awkward for sure. I mean, me in particular, like I don't do well with these interactions. I still am like a fanboy, and I don't really know how to small talk with guys that are, you know, super famous, and I get kind of nervous and red and I stutter and stuff. So we were about to see Tommy Fleetwood. This was what, like
2019.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, that was like, you know, we were just getting into the mix with these tour pros. We were just starting to get all of this access to go inside the ropes and talk to all these players at these big events. We're at Pebble Beach, and Tommy Fleetwood at the time, sure, like he's a name, but like we didn't really know much about him. And you see him come up and you don't know if he's going to be like a good guy or kind of like off-putting to like our kind of content or our kind of questions. And I remember just saying Tommy Fleetwood fucks. Like we were just in the crowd looking at him saying he fucks. Like this guy with his hair, he looks like he should be strumming a guitar. He should not be out here playing golf. He looks like Jesus with the blue eyes, the long brown hair. This guy's walking around like golf Jesus. Like we got to tell him he fucks. This is what's going on in my head. I thought he'd get a kick out of it. And I remember just going up to him and super nervous. And I just go, Tommy, you fuck. And he's like, what? He like had no idea what we were talking about. I had to get right through that and go to the next thing, being like, you should be strumming a guitar. He's like, I don't really get it. He kind of laughed and gave us our time because he's the nicest guy of all time. But that keeps me up at night. That is one of those things where when you're laying down and something super cringy pops into your head and you're like, ah, and then like your wife is sitting there and she's like, what was that? And you're like, no, nothing. I just was clearing my throat. But you're just kind of staring at the ceiling going, ah, you just want to get it out of there. So that's one of the moments for sure.
He had also been on a pretty good run there. I mean, the 2018 Ryder Cup with him and Molinari, they dominated that Ryder Cup. And then I believe the year before at the US Open with Shinnecock, and he was like T2. So Tommy Fleetwood had like become a guy on tour. And yeah, we always watched him from afar and we liked him, and he had the long hair. He just had a look. Like a lot of PGA Tour guys don't have a look. They all look the exact same. So yeah, we really liked him. And then that first interaction, I remember Ryan Whitney was standing behind us. He's like, I can't believe what you guys just did with Tommy Fleetwood. But then, you know, we met him through the TaylorMade stuff and we spent a lot more time with him, and it's been an incredible relationship. But Frankie, I could see how that would be one where you just sort of wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, like, damn.
It's gotten so much better to the point where I think we're legitimate friends with him. I mean, in the 2v2v2, the vibes that you guys had in the golf cart, and then the little jokes that he was saying to me when Charlie Hall wouldn't really give me the time of day in the first 6 holes, or like Charlie Hall like was like, this kid sucks at golf and he's not funny and he's not attractive at all, and like there's something about him that he has the ick, is basically what she was thinking about me. And Tommy loved it. Every single time I would hit one like out of bounds, he'd look at me and be like, she hates you, mate. Like he'd just be like, she hates you. It's just, we couldn't get on the same page. Obviously the rest is history. We start ripping darts and he started to like that, but he's just that kind of guy that like I would give him those looks and he would just laugh in the background. And then you got to remind yourself, that's Tommy Fleetwood you're doing that with. That's not some, that's not Mike Essie or like Barbuti that you have an inside joke with about like what's going on. That's literally the guy you're supposed to be doing the content with, and he's inside those jokes with you. So I fucking love him. I couldn't be happier for him, and it's just a good day to be on Team TaylorMade. Team TaylorMade just absolutely rips this PGA Tour, man. Every single week they're able to post some sort of champion photo on their Instagram. They've got Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Tommy Fleetwood, the whole entire roster. Everyone that's winning golf tournaments all year long is TaylorMade.
Yes. They've also got Tiger Woods, who's like, he used to win all the golf tournaments. And like, he's just, when he's healthy, he is winning all the golf tournaments. So they've got the biggest name too, but it is quite the run, man. Quite the run for TaylorMade. Tommy too. It's got, I think all of it is just the brand of him with the hair, like you said. He's got such a friendly look to him, like a welcoming look. He's got a nice swing. Like anytime aesthetically they do those, on the range with, and they just do the quick cuts of like the whole session. Wedge to mid irons to long irons to like mini driver to driver. It's so aesthetically pleasing. So you put all that together. He's got his like 18-year-old or whatever it is, how older than that now, stepson coming out who's all emotional on the green, and Tommy's like laughing. He's got his tall caddy who wanted to strangle Dan Rappaport one time. He's just got the whole like package of him and his brand, and everything is so awesome. We know just working with the TaylorMade people too that of all the folks that they work with, I don't know if they root for anybody harder than they root for Tommy Fleetwood. That's a testament to how he treats everybody, how warm he is with that entire staff, and always has been throughout their entire relationship. So, yeah, man, it was awesome to see, and for that to be one of the top, or his first win. I had Adrian texting me last night, who was the most fired up person on the planet. He's the master fitter over there. At TaylorMade, the equipment guru who works with the best players in the world to get them as dialed in as they could possibly be. And like, he's done such a good job that Tommy's having a breakout year for him. But the heartbreak is like, it's not down to the equipment. It's not down to like skill level. It's just barely struggling to get over that finish line. And so for him to finally do it and do it in that fashion, I love the scene on 18 that they had with Tiger, that they've had multiple times, of like, they let the ropes go and everybody funnels in behind. At Eastlake, it's like one of the things that Eastlake actually does nail, because we could kind of get into it. I think it's a pretty goddamn boring golf course to watch golf on TV on for the most part, but that part of it is very cool. It makes the moment feel even more special, and like the scene right in front of that clubhouse is such a unique look with the pond and the history, and the fact that, again, Tiger was there when he was playing with Rory and had the same scene, and everybody kind of funneling in was really, really cool. So yeah, it was one of those moments we'll remember for the year. And if you combine that with Rory kind of getting over the hump, Tommy getting over the hump, it'll be kind of a lot of the year. It's like Scottie and his dominance. He got 2 new major championships, by the way. But those guys getting over kind of the hump and the resiliency and all that will be kind of a big takeaway, I think, from 2025.
It is funny. In exactly 1 month, we are going to be booing Tommy Fleetwood. We are going to be rooting hard against him. So enjoy all the congratulations now. Enjoy all the back pats, all of it. We love Tommy. That is true. But in exactly 1 month, things are going to be pretty different.
They're going to be incredibly different. And we can transition into, that's the next big thing. I believe Wednesday is when Captain Keegan Bradley will make his final 6 picks for the Ryder Cup. The European team is essentially set. We could kind of go through this really quickly and get this out of the way so folks have a pretty good picture, audio if you're listening, visual if you're watching, but a pretty good picture of who we are up against, which is a goddamn formidable squad. I believe they've won 8 of the last 11 Ryder Cups. We have won the last couple that were on U.S. soil, including Wisconsin, in as dominant record fashion as you could possibly have, but lost in Rome. Everybody knows lost in Paris, and this team that they've got coming in Rasmus Højgaard kind of locked up a top 6 spot. Now they've got Rory McIlroy, Robert McIntyre, Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose, Tyrrell Hatton, Shane Lowry, Sepp Straka, Ludwig Oberg, Victor Hovland, Matt Fitzpatrick, John Rahm. That's their team. So their team is no fucking joke. And so in order to go up against that squad and have that, pretty much, I don't think anybody sees any other arguments. I don't think there's going to be someone that I just mentioned on that list that doesn't make the team. It seems to be pretty, set in stone. Even if maybe there is one flip, I don't know, that's going to change things too dramatically because they've got, their top 6 or 8 are pretty hilariously good when it comes to the European Ryder Cup team. So then you go to Team USA, which is going to be much more dramatic in that we've got some serious captain's choices to be made here. I think 1 through 8 are locked up. That's Scottie, JJ, Xander, Russell Henley, Harris English, Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Thomas, Collin Morikawa. I don't see any issues right there. I just don't think that anybody on that list is not going to make it. I think JT, as we know, heart and soul of the team's had a good year. He's 7th in points, so there's just no way they leave him off. Collin Morikawa, same deal. He's a staple when it comes to United States American, Ryder Cup best players over this 20-year stretch, Collin Morikawa. But you look at Ben Griffin, Maverick McNeely, Keegan Bradley, Brian Harman. I don't think Novak. And then you look at Cantlay and Burns. Really, you could see almost any combination of that. And then coming off of Eastlake, in terms of those names, Patrick Cantlay had a T2 finish. Cameron Young had a T4 finish. Captain Keegan and Sam Burns tied for 7th. Goddard and Ben Griffin tied for 10th. And Brian Harman tied for 13th. So for those last 4 spots, you really could go either way. I think I'm starting to get the feeling that Keegan is going to pick himself. Did you guys get a little bit more of that vibe after this week?
I mean, he obviously has an incredibly difficult decision to make. I do think when I was watching Keegan put that ball in the water on 15, I thought maybe that one swing stopped him from picking himself because he was at one point going to finish top T3, T4. It dropped him down. He puts it into the water. He drops down a couple spots. He ties with Sam Burns. I think it makes it a little bit easier, the fact that guys like Sam Burns, Cam Young, all these guys tied him or beat him. If he finished in front of everyone, I think it'd be a real tough decision. I'm saying that Keegan Bradley's not going to pick himself. I'm saying that he's going to stay the captain and he's not going to pick himself. I think he's got too many players that he's going to have to leave off to pick himself as a player. I don't know what you do with like Ben Griffin, with Sam Burns, with Patrick Cantlay, and then you're also skipping over like Andrew Novak, and Cam Young played great in the playoffs. That's like what you want. You want a hot player coming in. This guy, he beat Keegan Bradley coming in. Like, I don't know how you skip right over him for yourself. It's going to be a really, really tough decision for Keegan Bradley. He's going to have some real tough phone calls, which he's been on the other side of, and I know that he doesn't want to make.
Yeah, I'm officially on the side of I hope he does not pick himself. And I don't think he's going to. And the reasoning why I don't really want him to play is because I think, and we've talked about it before, where it's all great. Like, yeah, oh my gosh, he's a playing captain. How exciting. That's going to be awesome. He's been snubbed a couple of times. Then they made him captain. And then he's playing well enough where he could actually be on the squad. But I worry as the Ryder Cup goes along, if you lose a couple matches as the captain, like it takes a little bit of a turn and then everybody's like, oh man, he should have picked X or Y player as opposed to, he's got all these responsibilities and he's out there teeing it up. Like, we've got enough good players, I think, on that bottom half. There's going to be some decisions to be made for sure, but there's enough worthy players that I think if he steps aside, takes the captaincy thing really seriously, which I think he's going to anyway, but fully focus 100% of his brain power on the matchups, on the strategy, on who he's bringing in, on the motivational speeches, all of that stuff. I think he should just focus on that and send out a bunch of players, and then he can jump around to the different matches. I just think when you try to take on too much, you end up screwing up both things. And especially if you end up not playing well. Now, he is playing well enough and he's played well in the events and he won the Travelers, where there's a good chance that he would just win a bunch of matches. And then it's one of the great sports stories in history. But I just worry about splitting your time between being a player and being a captain. I would love if you would just focus on one, be the captain, and send the squad out and see what happens.
Yeah, I have flip-flopped on this a bunch. I thought after Travelers, it was very clear that it went from unless he's top 6 in points, there's no way he's going to captain's pick himself, was sort of the theory all year long. Then when he won the Travelers, I think that flipped. I think he made comments about that flipping. I think we heard him on here talking about like, well, now that he's like thinks he might be one of the better players on the United States squad, and therefore would, from just a pure ability standpoint, be able to make the team better with him on it than without him being on it, that he was really seriously considering taking himself as a pick and being a playing captain. And then, over the next month or so, we didn't see him play quite as well. He slipped to 10th and then 11th in the points. And it became like, okay, you're almost looking for a reason not to pick yourself, and like,
Yeah.
That's safe. That's what everybody understands. There won't be any controversy, but then playing pretty damn well. This past week, the fact that he is 11th in the points, and I think he's now, unfortunately, which is probably a good thing overall, but it's unfortunate for him, is like he is right in that spot. He's had a comment to Todd Lewis, which he just tweeted out a couple hours ago. He said, speaking with Keegan Bradley, he said some members of U.S. Ryder Cup team told him they want him to be a playing captain. He also said, quote, there's probably going to be a few guys that think they're going to be on the team that aren't going to be. He added, phone calls will be, quote, awful, which I can't imagine that part of it. We could talk about that a little bit too. But, I'm now leaning back on the side of, I think it's like 51%, 49% that Keegan Bradley picks himself. And I simply think it's because he thinks the team has a better chance of winning if he's playing versus if he's not playing, because I think he believes now. I mean, if you look at Xander, right? Like Xander, I don't think is playing as well. Clearly didn't make it to Eastlake, is not playing as well as the other 11 guys that are going to be on this team, even though he's on automatic pick. So then that moves, Keegan right away in points, you could argue, up to like 10th. And it's like, okay, we have 12 people on this team. Is Keegan Bradley one of the top 12 best players that are born in the United States of America right now in the world of golf? And if that answer is yes, which I think you can make a pretty clear argument it is, then I think it's like you as the captain almost like have to put yourself on it, because if the only argument that you shouldn't be on it is that you like can't handle doing multiple things, then you as like a, confident person, Keegan Bradley, I think in his own head is probably like, yeah, of course I could do it. I believe in myself. I'm playing great golf. I'm going to go out and get points and win. So I think that's kind of where his head's at. And I think at the end of the day, I think he's been getting gassed up by a lot of people. I think people have been telling him like, dude, you're playing some of the best golf. I'm watching you out there. You look awesome. You're so fiery. You're so made for the Ryder Cup. You're so made for the Ryder Cup that they made you captain when nobody on earth thought you were going to be like captain of the team. Now you're playing good golf. You have to be on this team. And I think he's going to end up picking himself. I really do.
So, I mean, I do think that as a confident human being, he should be able to say to himself, I can do both. Like, the world should understand that, but that's not the way the world works. So he's going to have a crazy target on his back if he does not perform perfect. The second anything goes incorrect or downhill in his matches, he will be the person that everyone goes after, that's saying, this is why your team is losing. You shouldn't be out there.
I think as a captain, he might want that because it takes everything off of other people. I think he might.
I just think it changes the perception of like the team, though. It's like it's all about the captain now, and like him putting himself in. Like, why would you even risk that? I'm fine with him playing if he just gives up the captaincy to someone. Why can't that be the option? Why can't Keegan Bradley just be like, this is the new captain, I'm just a player? Why can't you do that? Why is he holding on to the captaincy so hard?
Well, I think he kind of did, right? Didn't like Luke Donald grant some like permission for him to defer captaincy or something? Yeah, but along those lines?
Just make an official announcement. Like, I'm no longer the captain. Stop talking about me. I'm the 10th player on this team. Thank you for the captaincy. I no one thought I was going to make it. They wanted me a part of it. I'm a part of it, guys. I'm the number 10 player. I'm in there. Introducing Eldrick Woods. He is the new captain. Tiger Woods is going to come to Bethpage with Donald Trump on Friday, and we're going to have like the greatest time of all time at Bethpage. We're going to win. They're probably going to fly some B-52 bombers over the golf course. It's going to be the most American thing you've ever seen in your entire life, and that's what's going to happen. Instead, he's like, I want to hold on to this. I was picked it. I've been waiting for this my whole life. Like, no, dude, you've been waiting to play in this thing your whole life. That's what you care about. You want to play on this team. You want to play on this team. You don't need to be making up the matchups and worrying about what's going on the fourth hole while you're on the first. That to me is like, I understand that there's like all these other captains, there's vice captains, alternate captains. Just make the official announcement so that Team USA has no bullshit going in. I don't want anyone to have to like make a scapegoat out of Keegan Bradley because like he lost his first match and he's not worrying about the other matches now. And then those matches start losing. Why is Keegan Bradley out there getting pummeled? He should be out, making changes with his team. It's just going to be, they're going to run with it. The media is going to run with it the second anything goes wrong. Same thing happened with Zach Johnson. He was like the reason the vibes changed when his captaincy and the way that he like addressed the media and all the things around him it, like changed the vibes of the team. Like public perception was like, this team is getting boat raced and you have no one there to like take control of this thing.
It is a huge decision, man. I'm very interested to see the choice that he makes because like I said, I'm on the side of I'm actually on that side too, where like just pick one. Like, and again, the big question for me, and I don't know if there's not really an answer for it, like what is the bandwidth of a captain, like what that actually takes. I don't know. Maybe it's easy. Maybe you can just make the matchups, have Michael Jordan come in for the motivational speech, and then you're on the tee box, and it's totally fine. Your vice captains can take care of the rest. That is a reality that probably does exist. I would prefer that he just picks one, and I want him to be the captain. I think he'll be a great captain. Like he does love the Ryder Cup. He has wanted to participate in it in these last couple of years, but they made you the captain, which is in a way better, and it's maybe more pressure, but like. I really want him to just fully embrace the one role of him being the captain. And I want him to pick a couple of studs on the back half of these last 6 picks. So, but again, it's one of the great decisions in sports that we've seen in a long time, and certainly in golf.
I want it on record that I think he can do it. He's capable. I just think, is it worth it? Is it worth it to put yourself in that position when you don't have to? You can pick one.
Dude, if he wins his matches and they win the Ryder Cup and he's the captain, like we'll put him on the dollar bill. Like we'll do anything.
I know that's what I know that's what people are saying, but like, is that worth the risk? Is my point. You could still kind of be an awesome captain without putting yourself out there.
I also think like it could start to get to like how tangibly like impactful is a captain. Right? Like if you're a player, if Keegan Bradley is going to go out and he's worth like 1.5 points net as a player, is a captain worth more than that? Is a captain worth less than that? Like a good captain versus not a great captain or whatever that could be. And I think that's all the things that he has to weigh that people have debated forever, because when you are a losing captain, you get shit on. We've had a lot of fun on this show shitting on Zach Johnson and his captaincy and calling Spieth off of a certain club off the tee, and then he hit it in the water and like lost that match and all that. But like, I would also admit Zach Johnson probably got way more blame for that than he should have got. We had the Molinari on here afterwards, and it was like they were set up they were never going to win. It was like they had the whole course thing, and they knew more than we knew, and all their pairings. And we asked him, like, when you saw a couple of the pairings come out, were there ever a time where you thought like, ha, we got them? And he was like, oh yeah, like the whole time, every time the matchups came up, we were like, oh, that's perfect. So there's probably too much blame that the captain gets, especially Zach Johnson, and probably too much credit, maybe a little bit. Like Steve Stricker went out there, and by all accounts, he was the best captain of all time. He said it was the crowning moment of his entire career that he captained that team at Whistling Straits to just completely dominating in the whole deal. And like, so it is kind of we're kind of have Keegan Bradley faced with an actual decision that is based upon what is usually just a hypothetical discussion at the 19th hole in the world of golf, which is like, does the captain actually matter at all? They don't hit any golf shots. So like, how much could it really matter? At some point, you're just putting out what people probably think are the best 12 golfers from your country or your continent, and they're going up against the other team's 12. And like, if they just don't hit golf shots as good as the other guys, is that really the captain's fault? And so people debate that forever. And now Captain Keegan is like faced basically with that discussion, because I think we all agree he's a top 12 ability, hotness, like level of play, form golfer right now of the Americans in the world. He just won the Travelers. He just had a pretty damn good finish at Eastlake. He made it to Eastlake, all that. So it's like, is he going to slip enough in his captain's duties to go from, let's say, the 10th best player to like the 13th best player? If he is, then maybe he shouldn't be picked, So it's like, it's like weighing all of that is fascinating. And I think, Frankie, to your point, I agree with you. Like, I think it is the easy way out is to be like, I'm of course not going to pick myself. I'm going to be the captain. I'm going to do my best job as captain. Here it is. I think that, man, he hasn't opened that suitcase in like a decade because it means so much for him to be a part of it and to play. And he is one of those guys that wants the ball at the end of the game, whereas like we might not want the ball at the end of the game. And here he has the opportunity to have all of the balls in his hands with all of the opportunity that he could go out, he could win matches, he could be the captain, he could be the greatest American golf hero in like the last 20 years if he goes out and does it. So I think he's weighing that like I could be that guy versus we might be sitting here in a month and we might be like, wow, Keegan's legacy was crushed. You just don't. It's such a important decision for those reasons. And so, yeah, like I said, I think each week I've flip-flopped on whether I thought Keegan was going to pick himself or not. I do think barely right now. I think he's leaning on picking himself.
I mean, so I just don't. Yeah, I wish that in his press conference on Wednesday, if he does, he just says like, "This is the guy that's going to lead us. Then this is who we're leaning on. I'm going to be playing. It's going to be this guy as the captain. He's going to be making these decisions." I just wish that he would do that, like just pick one or the other, because now it's like, dude, who are you taking out? If Keegan Bradley's in there, and we're all agreeing that it's Colin, Ben Griffin, and Keegan, so now we've got to 10. So that means you have to skip over Maverick McNeely and Brian Harman and Andrew Novak to put two of Cam Young, Patrick Cantlay, and Sam Burns in. Those are insane decisions that he's going to have to make for guys that, Brian Harman has earned his way to the 12th spot, just like you said Keegan has. And so as Andrew Novak has earned his way higher than Sam Burns, 3 more points above him, 3 more spots above him. How do you make those calls and put yourself in? That's just going to be such a hard thing to do.
Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard.
He really
hard. Do we agree that he should do that? Like, is Maverick McNeely on this team?
I don't think so. I didn't think so, but that comment from Keegan of like there are going to be people that are like shocked that they're not on this team, that thought they're going to be on this team, makes me think maybe Maverick McNeely is on the team now. Like that.
I do think if it's true that the guys on the team are gassing Keegan up and being like, we want you to play, that, I mean, we're on a podcast, we can pontificate, we can have our opinions. Those guys in the room who are going to be on the team with him, who are literally being like, if it's true, or they're like, we want you to play, we want you out there with us, then he's going to pick himself. That'll be the deciding factor, I think. Is
Ben Griffin a lock?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a lock.
Is Colin Morikawa a lock? He's definitely a lock, right?
I think so. Just the pedigree and the fact that he's also up there in the points. I think so. But I mean, fuck me with that comment from Keegan. He might not. I mean, after the 6 top people automatically, it makes me think he could pick literally anybody on in the world. Maybe he picks Tiger Woods. I don't fucking know.
I don't know who comes out, but I think Patrick Cantlay and Sam Burns are in. I don't know who comes out of that. I don't know if it's Maverick McNeely and Brian Harman. I don't know if it's Colin Morikawa and Ben Griffin. I don't know who it is. I do think Sam Burns needs to be on the team because of Scottie Scheffler and because of his recent play. Well, I said in the beginning of the playoffs, this guy was going to be one of those guys that shoots up the rankings because of his play. Now, what I didn't foresee happening was also Cam Young and Patrick Cantlay all shooting up with him. They all played fantastic during the FedEx Cup. Keegan Bradley has 3 to 4 guys that all played amazing in the playoffs leading into the Ryder Cup, himself included. So, like, that is the decision that's going to make this extra, extra difficult.
And also, to me, if I'm Keegan, that's my out. That's where I'm like, the math just didn't work with me picking myself to be on this team. We got too many good guys, like Frankie just said, who played really well during the FedEx and during the Tour Championship that I would have loved to have played, but we've got so many dogs at the bottom half who are just knocking on the door of this top 12 that I filled it with guys, and I'm going to be the captain and I'm going to be a leader of men, but it's going to be them who tee it up and play at Bethpage Black. That could be an out for him if he wants it. But again, he might just pick himself. And then you've got, how many you got? You got 3 spots left. To me, it's like Brian Harman, Cantlay, and Cameron Young.
The Goddard dream is over, right? He had to win one of these events. You can't jump. He's 20th.
I have to think so. I really do. I have to think it's over. I'm also just like kind of looking at the points, and I really, I think Cantlay has to be a lock. I just think proven. He's the proven guy in the
I
Ryder Cup,
agree.
which has been huge, making those putts, no hat pat, everybody waving their hats around, and then
What's his
playing well
record? What's his
last
record? It's
week.
got to be pretty solid, right? Like he's got to have one of the better playing records than all 12 players that would be there.
Let's see. He's 5-2-1 overall.
That's
at the Ryder Cup.
unbelievable. You can't pass that guy up.
Well, that's another one where you talk about Scottie and Sam Burns. Bro, Xander and Cantlay are absolute world ruiners. Like they just kill people in those events. So if you want to have a battery like that, you got to put Cantlay on the team, and he's playing really well, obviously.
Yeah, this is the thing that gets lost in translation a lot. And we made this argument for Justin Thomas last year when he was not in the top 12, and we were and all the talk was that he was going to get pulled back in and he was going to get picked, and everyone's saying it's a boys club, blah blah blah. You have to put just as much emphasis on past Ryder Cup experience and record as you do current points, position, and form. I do think that you have to, that is something that has to be put into the equation. You can't just eliminate it. You can't just ignore it. That these people have been put in this exact environment and have done well. That has to get you a certain amount of points. I don't know what that point system looks like, but guys that are outside of that top 12 that have experience, that have wins, they have to be able to shoot up the leaderboard over people that have never played in it. And I know that that's like messed up. And I know that that takes away like all rookies essentially, because you just keep picking, experienced players and veterans. But I'm saying if you're pairing a guy that's just on the cusp of making that team in the top 12 in points and has a 5-2-1 record, you have to put that guy in. There's too much that's going on there that you can't overlook.
Also, if the duo has worked, like we just mentioned, like that record, a lot of that represents the guy that you're paired with. And if you're paired with a guy multiple times and you guys keep winning, that has to factor in as well. Has to.
Dude, it's like, I mean, I don't know if this is the right comparison, but I'm assuming that there's probably better beach volleyball players than the two that we send every single year. You know, who are the two female beach volleyball players that we send all the time because they're like the best duo of all time? They're older now. Is it May or what the hell's their name? You know, I'm talking about the two beach volleyball women that go to the freaking Olympics every single year and dominate the Olympics because they are like the best team that's ever been seen in Olympic volleyball history.
You're talking about. What are
there might be better again? Like players that like win tournaments throughout the year together, but they stick these two together because they know when they show up on that sand at the Olympics, they get dubs. And that's what we do. We have pairings that we know if you send them out there, they can play so well together. Alternate shot, best ball, the whole deal. They know how to get victories, and they've proven it. That needs, is it Misty? Who is it? What's the name?
I've been trying to Google the volleyball thing, and I just can't find it. And I don't
Carrie Walsh and Misty May.
Carrie Walsh and Misty May. Yeah, that's correct. That's just a duo in my head. To me, that's like that's Xander and Patrick Cantlay. You just know, you watch big American golf and you see those names up there saying like, "Yep, victory, 100%."
Dude, it's also a duo that pisses people off. Like they're so quiet, they so go about their business, they dominate matches, and when they're on your squad, like you love that. Like Patrick Cantlay he's one of the most vilified guys on the PGA Tour just because of the slow play stuff and the clips that have come out and blah, blah, blah. But you put him on Team USA, you team him up with Xander Schauffele, and I'll get Patrick Cantlay jersey. Like, that's huge.
I think Cantlay's a lock. I agree with you guys. I don't think it's even close. He puts the lights off the golf ball. He played well last week. The fact that he made it and finished tied for 2 with the season-ending event and has the 5-2-1 record and is kind of a emotional leader of the team. And brings a lot of like animosity to the Europeans with like the wanting to be paid stuff, the slow play stuff, the Joe LaCava stuff, the no hat stuff, all of it. I think he's a lock. So that, in my opinion, even not including Ben Griffin, gets us to 9 because that means the 3 picks: JT, Colin Morikawa, Patrick Cantlay.
And just sorry to cut you off, but selfishly, we just want Joey LaCava to come to our show at Borelli's on Wednesday night before the Ryder Cup. We want Joey LaCava on premises to come to Borelli's. We just need Patrick Cantlay there, basically because of Joey and our selfish reasonings. We want this to happen. We need our guy in the mix. We've got a guy on the team that reports basically to us. Like, we love Joey's our guy. He's always been our guy. We need him in the mix.
Good point.
No, I completely agree. that gets, in my opinion, that gets us to 9 locks. I don't see any world where JT Collin and Patrick Cantlay are not 3 of the 6 picks. So that gets us to 9. And then we're still looking at Ben Griffin, Maverick McNeely, Keegan Bradley, Brian Harmon, Cam Young, Sam Burns for essentially 3 spots. I just don't think Novak is going to get picked. I don't exactly know why. I haven't really heard people talking about his name much. I haven't really seen a ton out of him lately. I feel like earlier, mid part of the year, he was buzzing. He was all over the place. He got a bunch of those top finishes and the win and all that. But ever since then, haven't really seen much out of him. So I just think he's a little too fringe. That's my guess. So, out of Griffin, Keegan, Mav, Harmon, Cam Young, Sam Burns. Sam Burns has a 1-2-0 Ryder Cup record, but he does have a 3-0-0, a 3-0-1 President's Cup record. He's down there on the points. I think he's 15th or 16th. But he is, he played pretty well last week, and he's, of course, the guy that Scottie Scheffler wants to be out there with. They've been paired together a bunch of these types of events. So I don't know how much weight that carries, but we've got 3 spots, I think, that we all agree are kind of up for grabs, and we've got 5 or 6 guys for those spots.
I love dogs. He's a Georgia Bulldog, and you want dogs in events like this. Brian Harmon, he's a guy who I just think can walk into a locker room, like say, they split a session or they're down after a session. He just walks in that room and is like, let's fucking do this. Let's do this. So I like Brian Harmon on that team. Ben Griffin, he's had such a great year that I don't know how you keep him off the team. It's not a name that people would get super excited about, even with the year that he's had. But I like him, and I like Cam Young. I mean, Cam Young played great and hits the ball a mile. I think he would be into an event like this. Those I think would be my 3 to round out that group.
I'm going Ben Griffin. God, Griggs has made a great point for Keegan Bradley, man.
He did.
I'm going Ben Griffin, Keegan Bradley, and I'm going Sam Burns. And I'm saying Keegan Bradley. I'm saying Keegan Bradley.
Frankie.
And I'm saying Keegan Bradley.
But
also I'm saying what I'm saying is I'm saying Keegan Bradley's going to make a normal rash decision and deflect the captaincy to somebody else. I think he goes into this in the press conference saying, I'm playing. I think that I'm going to bring home wins and victories for this country. And I'm putting all of the matchup ownership on this man right here.
I think that if that happens, that is the most stunning result of all of the potential results that we have talked about on this show. If Keegan Bradley lays down his captaincy sword and is like, no, I'm going to play. Now, again, if he does that and ends up winning matches, we will put him on the dollar bill. I just don't, there's been so much hoopla around his captaincy that it would just really be an insane moment if he steps to that podium and says, I am no longer the captain. I want to play.
Isn't that the most rational decision though? Or am I wrong on this? Isn't that the most rational accepting decision to be like, guys, I've now earned my spot on this team and I find the captaincy to be so important that I want someone to take full ownership of it. And this person deserves it. Like I don't deserve all of it. This person right here to my left deserves this.
As crazy as it sounds, I think that it's logistically too late for him to not be captain. I think all the signage has been made.
Oh, the signage. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's such a fucking dramatic, cinematic ordeal for the whole week that that even if he's had conversations with the PGA of America behind the scenes, they're like, no, you don't get it, dude. You're the captain. You can make someone else speak for you and make all the picks,
right.
But you're the captain, dude. You have to be the captain.
Right. I see what you're saying. He could just do what I'm saying and just not publicly. Someone else is going to take it.
So, dude, I pulled up because I couldn't quite remember. Luke Donald, captain of the European Ryder Cup team, agreed to a rule change proposed by U.S. captain Keegan Bradley, allowing Bradley to designate an assistant captain to act on his behalf during playing sessions, potentially making Bradley the first playing captain in over 60 years for the Ryder Cup. So that was a month or so ago, whenever the hell that was. I think that's as close to the version that you're describing as Keegan can get to, where it's and then my dream world would be he designates Kevin Kisner, who's never played in a Ryder 100%. Cup, to be the captain of the Ryder Cup team. Would be awesome.
So we've got Jim Furyk, Kevin Kisner, Webb Simpson, Brent Snedeker, and Gary Woodland as vice captains this year.
Ooh. Gary Woodland would be a good one.
That's
Nobody
the name.
dislikes Gary Woodland.
That's the name that jumped out to me from that list for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
These 5 individuals will assist Bradley leading the American team at the event held at Bethpage Black in New York. Come on now. Kevin Kisner, Gary Woodland, that gets me going, man. Those two guys getting the people, it is true. Like the only thing that I'm worried about is the public perception. And I feel bad that this is the cross that Keegan Bradley has to bear. He did not see this coming. This is legitimately a cross that he has to carry now. He has to be the captain and also bring home victories on the golf course if he picks himself. He has to win. He cannot lose a match. This is just like what you're doing. Like you've chosen yourself. Whenever you pick yourself for anything, you have to show up. This is going all the way back to schoolyard, basketball and football during recess. Like if you're the guy and you're picking yourself, think about like Little League, like whenever the coach's son is batting first and playing shortstop, if that kid makes an error or if that kid loses the game or strikes out, everyone's talking. Why the fuck is he there? It's just a public perception. So 100%. You gotta be the guy. Am I saying that Keegan's ready for it? I think this is unprecedented. I don't know that anyone can be like, yes, Keegan Bradley is ready to be the captain and playing and win matches and pick great matchups. That's crazy. I mean, the last guy was what? Arnold Palmer? What are we talking about?
Yeah. Literally like 70 years ago.
So it's Arnold Palmer and Keegan Bradley, the two guys that are ready for this over all the golfers that we've ever seen in the world. Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods, everyone.
He does seem though to have like the demeanor of a guy. And I sound like I'm flip-flopping, but it's like, if there was ever a guy, if you were ever like,
no Jack Nicklaus, but Keegan Bradley, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is crazy.
But the thing with Keegan, and again, I'm kind of going back on my own point, is that Jack Nicklaus wanted to win majors. Keegan Bradley has a major, but he has made it pretty clear that his whole entire life is about the Ryder Cup. And we love that about him.
Yeah.
So if there's the guy who's like, no, I know it hasn't happened in 65 years, but I'm going to not only be captain, I'm going to step up and I'm going to hit this golf ball and we're going to win this fucking Ryder Cup. It would be Keegan Bradley.
There's nothing like a crisp fall night at the ballpark, but trying to get there can be brutal. You're stuck in the queue. Prices jump at checkout. You're logged out mid-click. All you want to be is just chilling in the stands. Maybe you got a drink in your hand. You're yelling with the crowd. The Game Time app gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in a few taps. That's it. It's that simple. Incredibly easy to use. The Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic MLB tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included. So what you see is what you pay for. Big thanks to Game Time, the official ticketing partner at Barstool Sports, gentlemen.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go to the U.S. Open Game Time. I've been looking. I think on Thursday night, I think I'm going to go to the U.S. Open, the Arthur Ashe Stadium. I think I'm going to go watch tennis. And I've been living in New York my whole entire life, never once gone to the United States Tennis Open. And I think on Game Time, I'm just going to go there and just go to the event. I think it's as simple as that. There's concerts, there's tennis matches, there's all these things that are happening in New York, all around the country right now. So make sure you go on Game Time, go to these events. The summer is starting to quickly come to an end. You can start to feel it. Once September rolls around, you start to get all those oranges and those browns into the house. The wives start to change things over into the fall decorations. All the napkins start to change. You want to get those summer events down. You want to make sure that you get those on the schedule. There's still concerts, there's still games, there's still all these things you can do outside. Get them locked in on Game Time.
100%. That's why we love Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets, especially MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Make sure you create an account. Make sure you use the code FORE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem that code FORE. You're going to get $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. The rivalries, the marching bands, the upset Saturdays just got way more fun because college football is back. If you think you know the game, put your college football knowledge to the test with DraftKings Sportsbook and turn your picks into big payouts. Speaking of big payouts, shout out to Big Cat. Pardon my take. He won a smooth 40 G's on Mr. Tommy Fleetwood last week at Eastlake. He got a tip from, I believe, a guy named Rob, which was an email with two B's. The two B's. And big thanks to, of course, using DraftKings Sportsbook. Big Cat with a $40,000 payoff. So from live betting during the game to rivalry week odds boosts, so much more. DraftKings Sportsbook has everything you need to stay in the action from kickoff to the final whistle. Saturdays are yours to own with DraftKings Sportsbook. We live for DraftKings. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, college football is back. The NFL is right around the corner. There's no better time to get on that DraftKings app and start looking around. The Saturdays, the Sundays, the Mondays, the Thursdays, pretty much every day of the week, there's going to be something going on with football, and DraftKings is the place to be. Place a wager. Just there's so much on there. Go look around, and I guarantee you will find something that piques your interest. Get involved, put a little skin in the game, and have fun with it.
So our guy Quiggs, he always does those tie bets, and he hit it on the first college football game of the year, which is a great feeling. So there's a lot of guys to follow too in our social media world of Barstool. You can see a lot of picks, a lot of people giving out their thoughts on games. It's a great time to be following the Barstool circuit right now on DraftKings. We got a lot of those special bets up there as well. A lot of different parlays that we've built for people during college football season and NFL season. So real good time to get involved on DraftKings. Make sure you're taking advantage of all of these codes to get as much as you possibly can out of it.
Here's something special for first timers, new customers. You bet $5, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. It's that awesome. It's that simple. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use our code, which is Fore, Fore. That's code Fore. And then new customers get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Now, Riggs, give me some Ryder Cup history. Like back when Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus and all these guys were playing in the Ryder Cup, was it as dominant one side as the other, or was the U.S. winning pretty favorably each year, where like it wasn't as big of a conversation as it is now? Like now the U.S. Ryder Cup captaincy and all the spots are so highly argued and debated because our team has sucked for the last 20 years. Like, was that the case in the 60s and 70s and 80s?
No, it was so different at the time. There was very little scrutiny. And I believe, I just kind of looked it up, but it was 1979 when the U.S. had been dominating Great Britain and Ireland so badly that they changed the competition to include like all of Europe. And that's just how bad it had been.
We're looking
that's
at
how
it now.
dominant it had been. So like, this was like an exhibition, dude. This was like them going out, on Saturday in terms of like U.S. versus Great Britain and Ireland in just how dominant they were. And then it really did become like late 70s, 80s is when it really became the Spanish kind of like guard over there, really led with like Seve. That's why they get so emotional about Seve. Like Seve really grabbed the European Ryder Cup team, and him and like Olazabal and this like Spanish contingent. That's why they love too that like Sergio has the most like points in the history of the Ryder Cup. Is like the Spanish contingent got so into it, and Seve was so charismatic, and he's out there getting up and down from all over the place and really changed it from like the U.S. and what kind of the American golfers and the Arnold Palmer and being like this branded athlete that's making a ton of money, and then going up against like the scrappy Europeans that are like all kissing each other on the cheek and all that. They completely changed that over that like 10 or 20 year period. And then in the early 2000s, it was like these scrappy, in love with each other Europeans against like Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson, and they would fucking dust them. And they loved that. And that wasn't that way forever, dude. That was like, it was when Arnold Palmer was the, playing captain. It was like, oh yeah, sure. He could play. He was ripping darts, playing one-handed and captaining the team, and they were winning by like 10 points.
What I'm seeing here, 1985 is where it all kind of flipped on its head. It was basically like you're saying, it was just this thing that they would do. The U.S. would show up and win. And then 85, they went out, England, they won 16.5 to an 11.5. And they beat the U.S. And then the next year, the next one in Dublin, they won again, 15-13. And then they tied. So it was like 3 Ryder Cups out of nowhere. It was 2-0-1 Europe. And then U.S. comes back with 2 wins. And then Europe comes back with 2 wins. And then the U.S. comes back with a win. And Europe comes back with 3 wins in a row. And now it starts to flip on its head.
Not just 3 in a row either. 3 during the
Dustings.
stretch of 2000 Tiger, where it was like early 2000s Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, David Duval. Like we had the most famous players in the game, in the history of the game, and we were fucking losing.
Yeah, so 85 just really launched Europe back into this thing, and that is where I feel like the scrutiny starts. And then, yeah, you look at 2002 all the way until now, and it's a lot of blue. It is a lot of blue. My goodness, man. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they won 7. They won 7 out of 10 Ryder Cups at one point. That is fucking insane. From, like you're saying, from just the best players that we could have possibly thought of. Tiger Woods
Dude,
was on these teams getting crushed.
I can't recommend a book more for everyone listening, and to you guys if you haven't read it, by Shane Ryan, called The Cup They Couldn't Lose. And it goes through all of this, and it gets to the part of, like, in that 80s stretch, Frankie, that you're talking about, like, Tony Jacklin was the captain of the European Ryder Cup team from 1983, 1985, 1987, 1989. For 4 straight Ryder Cups, he was the captain of that team, and they won basically 3 of them. They won 2 of them and tied the other one, which retained it. And that, like, those were like the first 3 that they had ever won, basically, since like 1957. They won one in like a massive upset. But it goes through, dude. Shane Ryan does such a good job of going through the history of the Ryder Cup and how it went from like basically a joke exhibition that they were borderline going to get rid of. They were like, this is like meaningless that we're doing this. Like, why are we doing this? It was like, almost had less juice than like the President's Cup 20 years ago, where it's just like, all right, the U.S., killing us. And then what it took and all the like truly internal like battles and like hard fought efforts by certain people on the Ryder Cup European side to be like, fuck these Americans, like, we can do this. Here's what we need to do and change the culture and like all that, then spinning it to the point where the U.S. is favored from a world ranking standpoint in like every single Ryder Cup in the history, yet we've lost 8 of the last 11. And dude, it goes through, he does such a good job of like going from current times back to like history, current times, history, and it all leads up to the COVID Ryder Cup 2021, I guess, is when they ended up doing that one, and like Steve Stricker's captaincy and the whole deal. And it's so good, dude. It gives you such a like appreciation for how it's also like a marketing genius, like a lesson in marketing genius that like the Ryder Cup went from something that people didn't really care about to, like you're saying, dude, for 2 months on the show now, we've been debating captain's picks and like ready to fight each other over like opinions over captain's picks. And they're like,
I think that's the thing people need to understand when they're listening to us kind of go back and forth is this captain's pick and the captaincy means so much in this world of the Ryder Cup, in this version of the Ryder Cup. Picks are so scrutinized now. So, even to compare it to the Arnold Palmer one is laughable. Like, this is unprecedented. Each pick is so highly analyzed and looked under a microscope and is going to be debated for the rest of time. And for Keegan to be that guy, to take this and, to be the one that kind of that breaks through and makes this decision on his own to me is like a little bit comical that it is Keegan Bradley. I love Keegan Bradley, and I love that he's going to take this by the balls and just run with it. But of all the golfers over the last 20, 30 years, the fact that this is the guy that's doing it, to me, there is a little bit of comedy in that. It is a little bit humorous that it's Keegan Bradley over and we're all like, of course it is. Like American golf fans are like, yeah, Keegan Bradley's got that fire, baby. It's like, bro, I could rattle off the best golfers you've ever heard of that didn't even think about doing this.
Well, normally the captain is somebody who is over the hill, and this will be a crowning achievement of their career if they pull it off. Keegan's young, he's still active. The other guys, Zach, Stricker, all they were just kind of they're not even near competing at a level where they would even be considered. So it's been a perfect storm with Keegan Bradley, where the Netflix thing obviously blew up, him getting snubbed and the luggage and the calls, and with JT and Spieth sort of lobbying that whatever happened there, that perfect storm vaulted Keegan to a place where they were like, let's pick him as captain. Wouldn't that be crazy? And then they did it, and he was young enough where he's still playing well enough where he's like, oh my God, I'm in the top 12. I got to make a decision here. So that's where that all stems from. Normally the captain isn't even on the radar of being picked. That's what makes this so crazy.
It's nuts. I
think we probably said this. Netflix definitely got him to be the captain.
I think 100%. I think
if those
100%.
cameras are not there when he gets that call, It's not as viral of a story. It just becomes one of those, hey, he was one of the guys that got snubbed. We never see any of the story about him with the luggage unless he comes on our show and says it, which he did. He actually said that on our show before it came out.
Yeah, he did.
But that definitely, like, it is funny to me that, like, all of the, you know, Hollywoodness to it brought him to the captaincy. But, like, it was a story more than it was, you know, a golf pick.
Well, it's
and
true,
now it's
dude,
like
he's got two Ryder Cup appearances. That's it. It was 2012 and 2014. It's been 11 years since he's even been in a Ryder Cup.
Right.
He's got a 4-3-0 record. So for a team that's lost 8 of the last 11, a winning record is very impressive. But you're right. It's not like he's some Ryder Cup icon. And of course, he was the captain. He hasn't played one in 11 years.
Right.
Well, it's also that goes to the point of where you're saying every pick is scrutinized. The media reaction to if Keegan picks himself and how he plays in the Ryder Cup is going to dictate how his legacy is talked about, is the same way the Netflix thing vaulted him into the position in the first place. It's all media.
Oh, this is a legacy pick. This is the most legacy week we've ever seen in golf. Like, I've never seen it so apparent right in front of my face that we will remember Keegan Bradley based off of 1 week of competitive golf.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, Stricker, after he won at Whistling, was like, this is my major. And everybody cried, and it was a great moment. And that is a big thing for his legacy. But this, for Keegan, this is his legacy.
He picks himself as a playing captain and goes out there and wins, and the U.S. wins at Bethpage. Keegan Bradley goes down as one of the greatest golf names in American golf history. Like, dude, without a doubt.
If Keegan, whether he plays or not, if he captains this team and they win at Bethpage, I would say Keegan will 100% be the captain going into Ireland in 2 years. I cannot imagine.
Yeah.
Like, I think this was a pick of like a pivotal change type of pick. We don't get shocking news in golf very often. It's a very non-shocking news type of industry.
Yeah.
And like when they picked Keegan Bradley as captain, that was fucking shocking. And we are, you know, somehow, some way, we accidentally backed into it. We are pretty like plugged in and we know about stuff. Stuff doesn't really come out that stuns you. That stunned me. And so if you're going to make that kind of pick, and then he is this fiery guy who's won a elevated event this year, whether he plays or doesn't play, like, he will be fucking gearing, gassing people up. He'll be pumping up the crowd. He'll be going nuts out there. And if they win this Ryder Cup, there is no way they're being like, oh, thanks for your service, Keegan. We'll see you later. While he's still playing at a high level, by the way. Like, he's not just some irrelevant guy. He's not over on the senior tour. Like, he'll keep playing. I bet Keegan wins the tournament next year. Like, and so they're just going to keep him captain if he wins. And that's just our horse now. Like, we just ride this motherfucker as long as we possibly can.
All right. So let's get final thoughts. So we're saying JT, Cantlay, Colin, Griffin, Keegan. And now we're all going to have to decide between Burns, Young, and Harmon for the final spot.
It's gonna crush me to do it, but I think I gotta go. I think that's my team, and I'm going Brian Harmon as my last guy. I think Trent nailed it for me. He's got that dog in him. I would be crushed to leave Sam Burns off of that. I love Sam Burns. We went shooting with Sam Burns. He's one of the best putters on the planet. So, like, keeping that off your team, you really do. You could regret that. Cam Young is playing great. I think statistically, data golf, all that, he's probably more of a pick, but like, just that dog and the excitement factor. And honestly, as a guy, you know, guys that are kind of on the media entertainment side of this whole shindig, if they go Keegan Bradley, that's the best thing that could possibly happen for us if he picks himself for this, all the storylines. Imagine the thrill and the tension of Keegan Bradley having like a putt on the 18th hole to win a Ryder Cup match on Thursday. That transcends the world of golf. That goes on Friday. I guess first rounds are on Friday. That takes this Ryder Cup and puts it from like something that the average sports fan sees on Twitter here and there to you put it right in their fucking kitchen for the rest of the weekend of like, you're telling me this guy picked himself. He's got a suitcase for the last decade that he refuses to open. People thought he was psychotic for choosing himself. You can't play and captain at the same time. Rory McIlroy tried to get in his head and say that. And this motherfucker just made a putt on the last hole in Bethpage where he like grew up playing at college. And I'm like, what are we talking about? So I just think from a media standpoint, get that guy out there and just see what happens, man.
Yeah, I'm we've been talking about this for like an hour. I'm done playing scared. At some point you got to take risks. You got to go all in. When you're a poker player, at some point you're presented with an opportunity to just like go all in, and you don't know what the result's going to be. All right, our guy Nate Dogg goes to the World Series of Poker every year, and he busts in like day 2, and he takes that risk. And one of these days he's going to hit. One of these days he's going to bag that second day pot, and he's going to go back to his hotel room, not on the strip side. He likes to look at the mountainside, and he's going to say, "I fucking did that, and it worked." And at some point, Keegan Bradley's going to have to put his freaking chips on the table and go all in. And him captaining this team and also putting himself out there on Friday and winning a golf match, to me, after talking about it and debating it, that gets me so fucking fired up. And you know what the result of that is? You know what the other side of that is? Is like we just lose. And then like we have another chance in 2 years to go back and get revenge. This would be devastating to lose at Bethpage. But like the world keeps turning. You got to take risks. You got to take risks is my point. Like, I'm done playing scared. I play scared too much in my life. Like, I play scared way too much. Like, at some point, the data needs to be thrown out the window, and you just got to grab your ball sack and just go to war. And that's what Keegan's probably going to do. He's going to fucking grab his American nutsack, and he's going to go to war against the Europeans. And I think he takes them. And my final pick is Sam Burns for the reason that you need Scottie Scheffler dialed in. You need that pairing to just win every single match that they play. I want Scottie Scheffler and Sam Burns. I think Cam Young is a great player. He plays for my New York team at the TGL. It's the New York team, and I love it. And I love Cam Young, and I just think that he. I just can't remember the name. What are they? Just the golf Sparrows? Club? Are they just the New York Sparrows? The New York Sparrows or something like that?
I actually don't know.
He goes,
we sell merch. We sell the merch.
He's on my New York team. That's in my state or from New York for sure. I don't know. I understand what you're saying. I think we also just witnessed Frankie have like a life epiphany about putting his nuts on the table. He's ready. He's ready to take on everything.
I'm just done playing scared, man. Like I'm constantly thinking about what the negatives are going to be, and you don't get great reward by playing with no risk. You could live that cushiony life. You can just wear your freaking khakis and your brown belt and your tucked in collared shirt, and you can go to your office every day and just plug away the data.
A fucking pussy your whole life.
You could just go there and you could make the salmon at night and and you just get pushed around.
Couple green beans on there.
One of these days you got to take a risk. It's like these people that like they quit their job and they go all in on this one idea that they had, and they started in their garage and it turns into fucking Apple, or it turns into Google or like Amazon and shit. You're like, how the fuck? Dave Portnoy quit his fucking $100,000 job to go, sell newspapers with his pics in them, and he would write under aliases, and he would like get people to think that it was a real newspaper, and he was taking shit out of the newspaper racks. He easily could have just been like an accountant or something, working in the financial district of Boston, making a nice cushy job. He took a risk. He put his nuts on the table, and it turned into us being able to talk about golf, and everyone thinks we have the worst takes of all time. That's what taking a risk is. And Keegan Bradley at some point needs to have some sort of confidence in himself as a human being and an athlete, and be like, I can do all of this because I'm one of the top 12 players in America, and I deserve this. So I've been completely transformed. Keegan Bradley is on my team.
The good news is we just get to watch all of this unfold. Like, like the press conference on Wednesday, the tournament that starts in a month. Like, we just get to watch it happen. And Keegan has positioned himself so that no matter what he picks and how he does it, it's going to be incredibly newsworthy. And I'm just excited to watch it. Like, if he picks himself, great. I argued against it at the beginning of the show, but if he does it, I'm going to ride with him. Like, these colors don't run. It's Team USA. Like, I'm going to be all on board with it. So I'm just excited that we just get to watch it all play out, because it's going to be fascinating.
Is it a hot take for me to say that Colin Morikawa is like the biggest question mark out of the people that are getting just like, inked in as opposed to penciled in? And we love Colin Morikawa, but like he really hasn't been around.
That could be a guy that he's talking about when Keegan says, like, I think there's going to be some people that are shocked that they're not on this team, that thought they're going to be on this team. I mean, Colin Morikawa's last 5 starts. He finished. He went miscut over in Scotland and Ireland for the Open, and then T22 at the FedEx, T33 at the BMW, T19 at the Tour Championship, and there's only 30 people in the field.
Right.
So yeah, he does not have fantastic form right now. I will say that he is 7th or 8th in the points.
Yeah, he's high enough in the points.
With as good of a history as he has, and major championship winner and the whole deal. I just think it's really hard to leave him off, but someone's going to be left off. I think someone that we think is maybe, I don't know if someone we think is a lock is not going to make the team.
Right. It could be a Ben Griffin where you're like, all right, like everyone thinks he deserves it, but it's not surprising he was left off. But yeah, if he left off like a JT or a Colin or Cantlay, like those names would be shocking.
God, this is so exciting. I can't
Wednesday.
wait.
Also, it's
tomorrow.
It's literally just New York Golf Club, by the way. I've been looking at it.
Yeah. Well, I said Sparrow, but I think they have a bird as the logo.
They do. They have the Eastern Bluebird as its logo and mascot inspiration, but it's just New York Club.
Good. I love that.
Yeah, I can't wait for this Ryder Cup stuff.
Too.
It's gonna. Yeah, I just can't wait to watch it unfold.
Diamonds Direct was founded by a diamond manufacturer in 1995. They go direct to consumer, cutting out the middlemen. That means fewer markups and way more value. The perks are real: a lifetime warranty that covers cleaning, tightening, even lost accent stones. If you want an upgrade, they've got a 110% lifetime upgrade policy. Trade up anytime, just pay the difference. I've actually got a Diamonds Direct watch on right here that I'm wearing that I got through Diamonds Direct. The experience is just incredible. A little bit of a blue face there matches my blue eyes, which is nice. The blue shirt that I'm wearing. But Diamonds Direct is great. Here's the big one. If you buy an engagement ring for $3,500 or more, and you get her wedding band free, there's no fine print, just a seriously good deal. Diamonds Direct is great, gents.
Yeah, it is. And, sometimes you just don't know what to get someone, whether it be your mom or your significant other. There's not many gifts that really make that wow moment happen. And when you go on Diamonds Direct and you see the products that they have on there, it's incredible. I mean, it will blow your mind. You got to go check it out. There's watches, there's bracelets, there's necklaces, there's chains for guys. I mean, we're looking for stuff for Frankie for his baptism. Like you need these moments to really you got to trust what you're getting, especially in this day and age, and they are a trusted source to get the right jewelry, to get the right stuff to make you look good and feel good. Diamonds Direct is what we've been using, and we've been seeing a lot of the products. We've actually been able to feel them and touch them, and they've been coming to different events that we've had. So really, really good products. I've got a chain that I got, and it's incredible.
Big moments teed up, so don't choke. Start with our picks from Diamonds Direct. Use the code Barstool. That's just code Barstool at checkout. You're going to get 15% off your purchase. Again, Diamonds Direct, that is code Barstool, 15% off your purchase. Let's move on a little bit real quick. We have, Trent and I did 5 or 10 minutes on this last week, but Frankie's here now. Tiger Woods is the chairman of the Future Competition Committee for the PGA Tour. They said that they're going to make significant changes. They don't want to make incremental changes. They have a bunch of, tour players on this committee, and then they also have some pretty serious business leaders on the committee. I think looking at the Tour Championship and the FedEx Cup playoffs in general, every single year in the history of this thing, which is almost 20 years now, I think the public storyline going in is that they just haven't nailed it. They really just haven't, that it's always missing something, that the format's not great, that the juice isn't great, that the playoff thing doesn't make sense. The season-long thing doesn't really make sense. None of it really makes perfect sense. And so they kind of came up with this committee to tackle that plus other things. And hopefully the fact that they have announced that they're open and pretty much existing to make some pretty radical changes when needed and where needed, I think is overall just kind of a good thing.
Yeah, Tiger Woods at the helm of anything in golf, to me, makes me feel good. It makes me feel comforted. I feel like it's going to go in the right direction. He knows this game better than anyone. Does he know the future of the game? I don't know that anyone really knows what the best decision is for the future, but at least you're getting the biggest minds together to really push this thing to where it needs to be. I was watching the Tour Championship with casual golf fans this weekend, and people were legitimately stunned that Tommy Fleetwood won the season-long FedEx Cup. They could not believe that Scottie Scheffler didn't win based off all of we watched the news and we just thought Scottie Scheffler was the best golfer of the year, but Tommy Fleetwood won the real big trophy. They couldn't, Don couldn't believe it. He was arguing with me. He's like, no, it can't be. It's just, well, yeah, he won the tournament.
Right,
and he
but
won.
that's the problem, is the PGA Tour has screwed with people's minds so much that now, if the Chiefs are the best team in the regular season, doesn't mean they automatically win the Super Bowl. It's
Totally
that's
right.
how it goes. You got to train people to be like, yeah, you can be the best player in 25 years for the regular season, but it doesn't mean you're going to win the big thing.
You just got to give the best player of the year, if you're going to call it the playoffs, you got to give the best player of the year an advantage in the playoffs. That's what every sport does. They get buys, they get home field advantage, they get last change, they get the whole thing. In every single sport, there's some sort of advantage for winning. And I know that his advantage is that he won a ton of money and he's just he's first in.
But I would say once
points.
you get, I think to kind of dispute that, I think he does get an advantage at the beginning of the playoffs. I think he could show up and finish last place the two events. He's still in the championship. Right. And then if you go to the Super Bowl, you don't have home field advantage in the Super Bowl. It's kind of a neutral site, even if you had a way better year than the other people. So there really is just no great way to do it. And I think if you're gonna there's one route to go, which is the Premier League, which there's no playoffs in the Premier League. It's just whoever has the best season wins. And that's not how we do it in America. The way we do it in America is we always have playoffs. In every league that we have playoffs where at the end of the day, it really does come down to two teams start at 0 and whoever wins that event wins the whole thing. And so that's sort of what they're getting to at East Lake, which is why I think they should implement match play, which is what we all thought all along, which it doesn't have to be match play the whole time. But once you get it down even to 8 people or something at the end, do 3 days of match play where it's you just got to eliminate someone. Literally just eliminate someone and then be the last person standing and you win.
Yeah, and there was a lot of those brackets going viral from all the different journalists that were on Twitter that were making their own kind of brackets, and a lot of them got me going. It was the 4 different sections and 4 guys had buys. It was the Rory group had a bye and the Scottie group, he had a bye. And it was cool to see how it would all unfold and how kind of if you simulated it, who would be playing against who. I know we kind of went through that on the last show. So there's definitely a lot of things that they could do. I'm sure Tiger's super jacked up to be able to talk about all this and move this to a place where he thinks it's going. I'm sure that he'll take a lot of, I think Charlie probably helps him with what he likes to watch. You got to think that Tiger takes his input in a lot of things because he is a real competitive golfer in this new generation that is upcoming. You're thinking that Charlie's going to be on the PGA Tour in the next
Charlie
10
on the
years,
committee.
Whatever it might be. I do think that Tiger is a different type of person now where he would look into that. He would take his take on that type of stuff.
He's a pretty analytical guy too. I could see him sitting Charlie and his friends down in the living room and being okay, what do we think about this format? What do we think about that format? Because that is
reality
the new
those are the
demographic.
people that are going to just watch. Yeah, the people that watched the Tour Championship for the last 20 years are dying. We're dying.
Right.
People are legitimately dying. They're dead.
That's how it works.
At some
That's
point,
how time works.
if you want to have viewers in the next 20 years, you have to make the right decision based off of that new generation. It doesn't mean that you have to turn it into Happy Gilmore 2 where the whole thing's one big TikTok, but you got to bring in something that they like to see or else it's dead.
Yeah, I said on when Riggs and I talked about it on the last show briefly. I love that Theo Epstein's on this committee. I just know he's a smart dude and he's done a lot in the world of sports and certainly the world of baseball. So there's a bunch of names on there and it's a bunch of smart people and that's how committees work. I just hope that they actually make changes. It sounds like they're going to that actually sounds like the point of the committee is to make big changes to the game of golf. Hopefully they're changes that we've always wanted to see. What they'll eventually end up being, I'm very curious.
Where is Monahan right now?
He's sunsetting. They're sunsetting him.
He's being sunsetted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rollapp's coming
sunsetted.
So
He's
we
pretty
won't
much
see
done.
him. We will not see him since we didn't see him. He wasn't at the FedEx, was he? He wasn't at the Tour Championship.
I think he was getting coffee for Rolapp during,
Yeah.
that's kind of that's what it looked like. I think he's pretty much, he's
Sunset.
gone.
Yeah, like who
Yeah,
gives
sunset.
who gives the speech at the Players next year?
It's
I think
not
Rolapp.
Monahan. It can't be
No,
Monahan.
man. Hopefully it's Tiger. Hope it's Tiger Woods. I don't know.
That'll be a big
It
moment.
can't be Monahan. He's done, right? I think he's done.
I don't
That's
know what
an amazing exit for Monahan with how much he's been in the news and the scrutiny around every decision he's made for the last 5 years at this point. I mean, this guy has been starting from when he had to first cancel that first event to COVID. He has not had a single night's sleep where every decision he's made has been scrutinized. And then with Liv and everything that's happened since then, this guy just floating into the distance without a final send off or a goodbye or, reporters having to ask him, what do you actually think during all this? Nothing. Unless he comes out with a memoir or a book or something or a documentary on what he had to endure during this time. We may never see or hear from Monahan ever again, which is stunning.
Well,
to
what
this
happened
show
is
where we talked about him for the last half a decade.
Well, what happened is kind of what Riggs predicted, where you keep the same guy for a couple of years while the arrows are flying in, and he just takes them in the back over and over and over again. COVID, Liv, all this stuff. He just takes those bullets. And then as things start to look better, think about it. The Liv thing is weird now, but the PGA Tour isn't losing. That is a battle that they are. There was a time when everybody's like, oh my God, there's no footing for the PGA Tour. They're going to have to merge or there's going to have to be big changes. You know what happened? Time continued to pass. Liv didn't really catch on. The money is still there for the guys who jumped, but the ratings for the PGA Tour are way up. People are into the tournaments. There's enough stars that is going to carry the PGA Tour into the future. So now is the perfect time to be like, all right, Jay, that era of the PGA Tour is ending. And we are now going to start into this pretty positive era for the PGA Tour. And we're bringing in new people. And that is kind of how it's going to work.
Yeah. And I think that I really do think that they kind of knew, and that's once they started with the strategic sports group and there were actually really smart people behind the whole operation. Yeah. I think they very much knew that you had to hand the next guy a pretty solid hand of cards. And in order to get somebody like Brian Rolapp, you had to have a situation that was on the uppity up, not on a downward spiral. I don't think they could get a Brian Rolapp a year ago when he's like, what do you mean? Jay Monahan's the least liked person in sports business in the history of the world. And you're just going to put me in that spot? What the fuck am I going to do with that spot? We got the Saudis got $8 trillion. There's no way. Now, much more stable spot. They're not losing players. The ratings are pretty damn good. CBS had their top year in golf in a long time. Rory wins the Masters. You've got stars now with Scottie versus Rory and all that. And it was okay, now we can sort of sunset Jay, which I'm sure he's got the most golden parachute of all time. Jay Monahan's going to go back to Massachusetts. He's going to be fine with his perfect white hair. He's going to be great. But great. I just think that's sort of the reason that they did it the way that they did it. And I think it would have been a failing prospect if you brought somebody in a year or two ago. I just think they would have been fucked.
Nobody would have accepted the job. Like you're saying, you don't take that job.
No way.
And Rolapp already looks like he hasn't slept in a year, so he's perfect for this. I mean, every time you see this guy, he looks so disheveled, like he was just woken up. And they're like, dude, you got to go on this platform and you have to speak right now. You're going to go up there in front of all this meeting. You have to speak. And he's like, I just woke up. What are you talking about? You guys got to give me more notice. And he goes up there and he's eyes are barely open. He's like, oh,
that's what you want.
Crushes. Yeah. He doesn't know where he is when he's talking.
You want a guy who just looks like he's been working 24 hours. When they put Bill Belichick, when he was the Patriots coach, up on the podium, we're like, this guy barely put clothes on. They're all ripped. What happened? And then you get a guy, he's just working so much that he's like, all right, I'll talk for 10 minutes and then I got to go back to work.
Yeah.
Dude, he's perfect, man. He is constantly exhausted.
I think good start for him. Good presser last week. People liked. He came off candid. It wasn't like he's reading off a screen. He just was kind of up there. Yeah, he's good. He's good. So I like it. I like where the tour's at overall. Just had a quick announcement, which Ryan Richardson sent to me, which is that Rory and Scottie have been announced basically as the newest iteration of the match franchise. It says Rory and Scottie are facing off in a new team golf event in December. It's going to be United States versus International All-Star Skills format. No live players will be participating this year. And it says Rory and Scottie will captain 4-man teams, which is going to be kind of a format similar to last year's Showdown, but without live players. I don't think I really paid that much attention to the one last year. So maybe in December when there's no golf going on.
Unless they fix the production side of it, where it's, if they can realize that these are professional golfers, and from after they hit their tee balls to when they get to the fairway to get to their balls, these aren't stand-up comedians. These aren't entertainers, essentially. They're just like, you're not going to get much. So the Showdown, if I remember correctly, people who watched it, and I watched it as well, was pretty big dud. So
it was a little snoozer. It was a snoozer.
Yeah, they've run this out now. They've been trying to do it for what feels like 5 years now. Different iterations of it, different people, different celebrities, different professional golfers. They haven't gotten it right yet, so I don't have huge confidence in it, but it's something that I'll probably throw on.
Yeah, it's all going to turn into something you just throw on. I don't know. It's just not. It doesn't get you. It doesn't get you. Nothing gets you unless it has a ton of meaning. If all they want is for it to just be like, yeah, you throw it on, you watch it, then fine. I mean, we've argued about this with TGL, where like it has to have meaning, and like some of those matches definitely felt like it was meaningful. Guys wanted to win. They were out there with like huge putts and drives, and they were celebrating, and like it started to get to a point where, all right, at least I know that the guys care about it. All these matches and showdowns and hoedowns, whatever the hell you're going to call it, and you're just going to start seeing them like it's just all becomes a big bucket of nothing. All of them just kind of blend together.
Agreed.
I don't know.
The thing
like
they should do
like
is
that Creator Classic like had a huge drop off too. Like a lot of these things, whenever you do too much of the same thing, it's just like it all becomes the same stuff. What are we actually out there trying to watch? You know,
I would
How are you
also
gonna grab
say,
me.
and we talked about this with Live once it got up and then like the viewership wasn't anything to write home about, where if you're going to do this, just do it and throw it on YouTube. Listen, I don't want any more competition on YouTube, but like
100%.
if you want to juice up the PGA Tour YouTube page, just do that. People will watch it on YouTube, but people who are not watching this on TV, and if they are, it's very much in the background. But if you throw it on YouTube, it'll get, I would argue, way more views.
If the PGA Tour had a YouTube page that was like a legit content,
you got to whisper so people don't hear this.
That they were a content creating page where instead of getting Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler, where you get them for a full night and you do the whole entire hoedown, and they're dancing, they're doing the whole bit. If you get them for that time that they've given you, and you make a YouTube style video, and you do that 12 times a year with different huge stars from the PGA Tour, and you do like one-on-one matchups YouTube style, you have a hit. That gets the kids going. Instead, the TNT hoedown ain't gonna work. Like it's gonna get views, but the showdown, it's gonna get views. It's just not gonna hit.
Dude, I said this. I was telling Grant and Garrett this last week when we were in Big Cedar, and I was like, that match that they put up maybe a month or so ago on Grant's channel, which was like, it was Phil and Grant against Garrett and Bryson, and it was like this example of what we're talking about, where when it's a YouTube video that's an hour long or whatever it is, it's great because you're able to cut out all of the boring bullshit after the golf shots.
They're not
and when they're standing over a shot, and Phil with his natural, he loves to talk shit and get in there with people, and him bringing that out of Bryson, and then just cutting, maybe 2 holes go by where there's none of that interesting shit talk, and you just show the golf. And then all of a sudden on the 3rd hole, like somebody hooks one and there's hilarious banter back and forth. That they nailed. And that just is like a much better version of what they're trying to do, because like you said off the top, which we've discussed a lot, it's like they're just not professional comedians. Even if they were, I bet if you told Nate Bargatze, like, hey, dude, we're going to mic you up for 4 hours of a golf round,
right,
be entertaining the whole
He's
time.
He's been in
like,
one
what
of
are you
these.
talking about? Right. He's just like, you can't, that's not it. What is it is like when you are able to cut and edit and present the best parts, the most entertaining parts of a 45-minute or an hour-long video, then you really have the best version of the product. And I think they're obsessed with capturing the moment. That is the one thing that you get from like a live event, potentially, that you don't get from doing on YouTube. Is like, it's much harder to truly like take over a moment in sports on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But you really, really lose the product value, I think, when you do it live, because it's just not that entertaining most of the time.
The moment sucks. Like, even if the moment is Scottie hitting a bomb putt and like he wins like a Rolex or something, who gives a like? That's not the moment. There is no moment that you can get from the showdown. There's no moment.
Only
so it's like
moment
it's
that I remember is the Tom Brady hole out. Would be the one moment that even comes to mind that is in regards to what Riggs is talking about. That was like, but
that would still go viral if it was a YouTube video. Every hole in one in YouTube history has like 10 million views. Like, I mean, like,
you're right.
Good.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It launched them to like a $50 million valuation. Matt Sharf's hole in one on that par 4 is like the reason they're who they are. It went everywhere.
Yeah, they're on like ESPN. They were everywhere.
Everything, dude. They said to us when we were in Hawaii with them, like that was the beginning of everything. Obviously, all the work they put in around it, but like that launched them. Bob Does Sports has a hole in one every other week. It's like they're just going crazy, running from tee box to the hole. It launches them, dude. Like, we talk with them when we go out to dinner. We're like, the boys need, like, everyone needs a hole in one in their life.
We got to get an ace.
Boys can't get a hole in one. Can't buy one.
I could get a new basement if I got a hole in one. Like that, literally, there is legitimate dollars attached to us making hole in ones. And shout out to the fellas for never just throwing the ball in the hole. Like, you know, like I got a christening, I got a baptism I got to pay for. A hole in one would get a nice little spread for the 100 people coming in. But like, we refuse to do that. We just refuse to put the ball in the hole.
We just go out there and
videos for like 6 years.
It always takes more than one stroke for us every single time.
Yep. That's way more than one.
No, I think that the YouTube play would be so huge. You get this time that they're giving you. You got to utilize it. I don't know. Obviously, there's a ton of dollars that come in with these huge TV deals. So obviously that's where it's coming from. But at some point, you got to put your nuts on the table like Keegan Bradley is on Wednesday. And you got to take a risk. You got to take a risk.
This is going to be, Frankie. I don't know. I don't know what your like family and friends are ready for this week, but they're going to get a new Frank Borelli the third this week.
I was actually hoping you launched into word for word the same rant, the nuts on the table, and that would have been amazing
for a YouTube page.
If you just ran it right back. But
I'm getting distracted. Someone sent me the Rangers are celebrating 100 years this year. It's actually gotten to the point where that's an embarrassing accomplishment for them to celebrate. They've won 4 Stanley Cups in 100 years. To make like the center ice the 100 sign this year is embarrassing. 100 years of hockey. They've won the same amount of cups as the Islanders, who played right here in East Meadow. Come on, dude. 100 years? The Yankees have been around for 100 years. They have 27 world championships.
Last thing we got here, gentlemen, is second to last thing. Big time, kind of like summed up all of like the second half of Rory's year. I like that he had a noon tee time at Eastlake and then was just at the US Open last night in New York.
100%.
Wow. Like they were like, I was like still watching Tommy finish up, and Rory was already at Arthur Ashe Stadium having like a cocktail with Harry Diamond, watching a little bit of tennis. So I love that. I thought that was very funny. And then
I want to go to the US Open badly.
Have you never been as a
New
New
Yorker?
Yorker?
No, never been as a new. It's been right here. It's right next to LaGuardia. I go to LaGuardia every day. I've passed it my whole life. I've never gone to the United States Tennis Open. I've never got, what's that drink that they all get in there? There's that one drink.
I know. I've had it.
What's the drink, man? What's that drink? The honeydews.
The honeydews.
I want a honeydew bad. I want to have that.
It's a really good drink.
And I want to go. I might go on Game Time this week and go because they're here until the first week of September. And I know we're traveling a lot, but I do want to go. I think I might have like Thursday night open to go to the US Open. And I don't know how the schedule works though. I don't know, like when you go on the tickets, it's just like there's a million different stadiums. There's a million different courts. There's all these different types of tickets. You don't know who's playing who. You don't know what round it is. Like if you go on like the United States Open website, it's impossible to see like who's going to play who. And I get because it's like match play, but like,
is it? I don't know any answer. I don't have an answer to that. But is it also like the Derby? Like, will you dress to the nines if you go?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't think it's like Wimbledon. I think maybe later you do if you go to like a semifinal match and Arthur Ashe.
Where you're sitting, right? Like,
yeah. I think we went in like sneakers.
300. I'm like gonna wear a hat and t-shirt and
I went with Lurch one time, and he was like affecting the matches because he was just trying to talk at a normal volume next to him, and they were like, "We're trying to serve over here."
Was it the U.S. Open years ago where Tiger Woods and a very young Charlie were there? Was that the U.S. Open? Oh yeah, they weren't dressed up. I must be. I'm thinking of Wimbledon. I think. I must be.
Yeah, remember Tiger was fist bumping. He was like fist bumping Nadal shots.
Yeah, backwards hat.
Yep.
The famous drink, the Honey Deuce, is vodka, fresh lemonade, a raspberry liqueur, and then garnished with frozen honeydew melon balls to resemble tennis balls.
Cool.
Wow.
Frankie, you got to go.
I might go Thursday night. Guys, I pulled a nice move. We went to a little get together at one of our friends' house the other night. They had just done some renovations to the house. We went to go see it. A lot of the kids were getting together now. It's like a whole thing. A lot of our friends all have kids, so you put all the kids in the room. You take pictures of them. It's so cute. But we were having some pops. We were having some drinks, and I was like, I want to bring something that's not just you walk in with, you walk in with just like a bunch of Trulies, which is great and it's very tasty and we love it. But like sometimes it's just like you got to bring a little bit of pizzazz. You got to be like I don't know, make a moment out of this thing. Put your nuts on the table and like let's actually grab this thing by the horns and let's go. So what I'm thinking is, so I'm sitting there, I'm like, what can I bring? So I pack a little cooler and I wanted to make Manhattans for people. You guys like a Manhattan? So there's something about making a cocktail for people, especially on the road, that really gets the people going. And I went and I got all these things, and I got the bitters. So I got regular bitters, and then I got orange bitters, and I went and I got those Luxardo cherries. You know what cherries I'm talking about? Those dark cherries. These fucking cherries are like $22, by the way. A little can of cherries. They're like $20. I couldn't believe it. Best cherries you'll ever have. So I get all this, I bring it to the house, and I'm making cocktails, man. I'm throwing these bitters in. I'm throwing this sweet vermouth in. I'm throwing, and what I made Buffalo Trace ones. You could do like a rye, or you could do a bourbon. I made Buffalo Trace Manhattans, and you frost up the glass, and you start bringing them out to people. You start handing those things out. You feel like an incredibly accomplished human being when you are the one providing something else that's just like you poured it into a glass and you handed it to someone. You actually made it like you put a little effort into it. I know Francis has talked to us a lot about like being the one that makes cocktails. There's a lot that goes into it and you feel the pressure, but the result and the payoff is incredible, dude. Like they can't believe it. You're giving them a mixed cocktail. And you're like, where are we right now? We're at Marissa and Rob's house? Like, how am I having a Manhattan right now? It's a great feeling.
Yeah, Francis talks a lot about the see-through ice. That's like a big part of it, right? You got to have clean ice.
Totally.
That sounds like you gave them a show.
The ice is hard to get right. I know our buddy Eric, who's got the Speakeasy J Bespoke in Midtown Manhattan, is he talks a lot about the effort that they put into their ice, and he takes insane pride in like how quality clear his blocks of ice are that he puts in his nice cocktails, and it makes a huge difference. It really does. He's like, if you get a cloudy piece of ice or block of ice, he's like, that's not going to fly. Like you need a good clear chunk of ice.
And it sounds pretentious and douchebaggy, but like
having
the right glassware and having the right glass goes a long way also. Like, and Francis, he said it to me one night and it really changed my perspective on things. Like handing someone a drink in the correct glassware, like you feel like you're at a restaurant. When you go to a restaurant and you buy a $20 cocktail, it's like that's the big part of the night. Like you look at the cocktail menu, you order a big drink, they go back there, they make the drink, it's smoky, it's got the right ice in it, and they present it to you like they're marking that thing up like 400% for that. Like to be able to do that at your house and provide that to people, on demand is a great service to your friends. Like you're giving them a beautiful restaurant style drink just in the comfort of their own home. Be that guy. Like if you can be that guy, be that guy.
You can argue that that's art. You're handing them just a little piece of fleeting art.
100%, dude. I brought all my little tools with me. I spun it. You spin, you turn it, you don't shake it. And they heard the ice moving around in it. It's a good feeling, dude. Wow. It's a good feeling.
Good for you, man. That sounds like a hell of a night.
I'm gonna start branching out more with that. Like I think I'm nailing the Manhattan.
Put your nuts on the table.
Throw my nuts on the table.
put your fucking nuts on the table and make a bunch of Manhattans.
I want to make a different type of drink. I want to make a gin drink next. I want to start messing around with different types of alcohol. But yeah,
Okay.
no, it's exciting. It's exciting. I'll keep you guys in the loop how that goes.
I love it.
All right. It is exciting. We're going to close out. We're going to close out with a little from the gallery voicemails brought to you by, speaking of great drinks, our great friends at Truly. Frankie mentioned it earlier. The Truly Unrulies throughout this entire year. We were just in Colorado last week, drinking them out there, having ourselves a great time. The phone number, if you'd like to leave a voicemail for the squadron here, is 646-685-4717. 8% ABV in the Truly Unruly lemonades, 100% delicious. And lemonade's just great. I like drinking lemonade just without the Truly. I love lemonade in general. It's one of my go-to drinks at lunch, dinner, whatever. So now the fact they've got Truly Unruly lemonades, it's incredible. 4 supercharged lemonade flavors: Bumpin' Blue Raz, OG Original Lemonade, Punched Up Pineapple, Wild Pink. It's the official hard seltzer of Foreplay. Level up your lemonade with Truly Unruly and find Truly Unruly lemonade at a store near you, or visit trulyhardseltzer.com. Let's hear from the folks.
Hey, boys. Cam from Staples, Minnesota. Longtime listener. Just love your content. Love everything you have. Question I've got is, a week ago, you guys did the background of how Foreplay started. And I've always wondered, and I say it as part of my regular vocabulary now, where is the origin of the phrase that you guys use, hit it hard? And it's so cool because I use it for my everyday life, and it's awesome. I love it. Just want to hear a background story about that, and you guys have a great week. Hit it hard.
Shout out to Cam from Staples, Minnesota.
Yep.
Minnesota.
I want to say, if I'm not correct, but I want to say that came from the John Daly song, Hit It Hard.
100%.
It definitely did, and I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that used to be the intro to this podcast.
I hit it hard, man.
We
So
played the John
hard,
Daly
man.
Hit It Hard song as the intro to the show, and as time went on, and as I just think generally, like, using music that isn't owned by you, it's not a John Daly Hit It Hard specific thing. It was across all podcasts at Barstool, where it was like, if you don't own the music, it's kind of hard to integrate it into your podcast intro. So we just ended up switching it, but we never lost the ending of the podcast where we say hit it hard. I believe that's the story.
Yep. I think that's exactly right. And then I think, and yeah, like, look, like I think the early parts of this show, especially, it was like kind of John Daly was sort of a representation of what we were doing. We were kind of like, a little bit scrappy weekend golfers from pretty damn normal backgrounds playing public golf. And John Daly was out there having cocktails, winning major championships. And it was just like, he's got the songs. We did the intro. And then, it became kind of our sign off at the end of the show of like, hit it hard. And then once we got Frankie and we would add Lurch, we ended up adding D. It was like kind of part of if you're part of the crew, the way we put a bow on every show is you just be like, you know what a good mantra is to send off for the people? Hit it hard. And that's sort of what it's been for.
Song, dude.
Oh, it's really good.
It's the lyrics.
It's genuinely good.
It's so John Daly.
I'm really
hard,
surprised.
Man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing. It's a natural fact. I hit it long, man, till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, living large. I hit it hard. It's just so John Daly, man.
I'm surprised we don't get more of that as a walk-up song at the Barstool Classic.
We get a decent amount, but not not as much as you would think. Yeah, I would say. Not as much as you'd think, though. You're right.
Yeah. We get
who's
the song "Shitty Golfer" by?
Oh,
Toby Keith.
I think that almost takes the place of that.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah. You know what I really like is that the last month or so we've been getting a good amount of Real American, little Hulk Hogan action.
Yep. R.I.P. as well.
I hit it hard, man.
Hard.
It is a really good song. But yeah, that's the story as far as I can remember it.
I believe that's the story. And
you just can't use music anymore. But you can cover music, which is interesting. Like how do these accounts on Instagram and YouTube, like how do I watch covers all the time. I love when other musicians will cover other people's songs. A lot of people have been covering Ozzy Osbourne, and a lot of it's just been a lot of me watching those types of covers. Or I'll always watch like Foo Fighters covers of it's just, you never get to see like a Kelsey Ballerini singing like "There Goes My Hero" or something. I mean, I don't know if she's ever done that, but like it's fun to watch them sing their peers' music. And I never understood how that was just like allowed on social media and shit. I guess just because you're covering it and it's not actually playing the song. Like, could I sing "Hit It Hard" with Pup Punk and that be our intro?
Wait, are you talking about live? Or are you talking about what are you
just
talking
like
about?
No, like as our content, like
a recorded
could I record with Pup Punk "Hit It Hard" by John Daly and have it be our intro song to the podcast?
Isn't the agreement that the money that's made for it, a portion of it has to go to the original artist? Like, I know that's the case with a lot of them, but like Luke Combs' Fast Car is a good example of that. I think the person who originally puts out the song, that there's money owed to them when that song starts to make money.
So what happens when you just like cover the song just for your own content though? Like, there's YouTube accounts that legitimately just sit in their living room, they just sing songs. Or like, I follow an account, they're a band called Penelope Road, and they harmonize like you wouldn't believe. And they sing this one song, "Human Nature" by Michael Jackson. And I almost want you to pull it up, Ryan Rich, and that's how good these guys are. But like that, they're allowed to just like post that. That doesn't get taken down. There's no copyright. Like, they just like are singing in their living room, and they're just singing a song by Michael Jackson, which would never be allowed, if you just played his song on your Instagram.
No.
Yeah.
Penelope Road.
Yeah, I don't know
Great
what the
little
case
band. Great little band.
Penelope Road.
Right. Like, I watch YouTube videos of guys listening to songs for the first time. I love it. Their reactions.
So good.
And it's like the picture in picture of them just kind of bumping their head, and then they'll stop it after like a fucking awesome riff or something. It's the best, dude. Oh my God. There's this one that is all time of the two drummers from Godsmack. Everyone has to go watch this video of the reaction to watching Godsmack for the first time. It's the singer and the drummer have a battle, a drum battle, and there's just one point where one guy goes around the top drum, and they both just hit the bell of the cymbal at the same time. And these two guys who are watching it, they pause it and they go, ah! They go crazy, dude. It lights up their world. Oh my God.
It is.
I'm gonna watch the shit out of that when I'm done with this.
It is a good question that I simply don't have the answer for. If you sang a song and then we wanted to put it as the intro, not that we want to do that, it's just a thought experiment. Yeah. What's the legality around it? Oh, here
yes. Watch
Penelope
these guys
Road?
sing "Human." Watch these guys just this will take us to the end of the show here. Watch these guys sing "Human Nature." You can even skip to like the middle of this. The background, you don't need much. It's so good.
A lot of talented people out there in the world. Tons of them. More than you would ever think.
They really are. And
that's when we get the imposter syndrome, when we're up there playing at the Beach House bar the other night down on the Jersey Shore. We're playing in Point Pleasant at this place, Martell's Tiki Bar. 600 people, however many people, packed out. You couldn't see a part of the floor, the whole outdoor bar. We got waves crashing. My drum set was in the sand, and we're playing up there. We hadn't played together in like a year. I'm like, you got Penelope Road out here singing in their freaking living room. They should be playing at fucking Madison Square Garden.
No, you guys are good. You guys are good.
God.
You guys are good. Very good. Very good. All right. Anybody got anything else?
I think that's
Drew,
it.
Go watch us at Cypress. I know we talked about it off the top, but our video at Cypress Point is live. This is something that we cannot believe is out there. Unbelievable stuff that's on our YouTube page. So shout out to the USGA, shout out to the Walker Cup. Just an amazing opportunity for us, these idiots that we were talking about God knows what on this show just now. The fact that we have a video at Cypress Point does not sit lightly with us. I mean, your guys' first video was an absolute shit show, and the fact that it's gotten to the point of filming at Cypress Point is an incredible accomplishment and feat, and it's a moment that we should really be proud of, I think. And that video is going to last us our lifetime. Like, I'll go back and watch us taking a loop around Cypress with my fellas and, just kind of hitting drives and playing the most iconic holes that you could possibly play. It's unreal that we got that on video. Even if it was just for ourselves, the fact that other people get to watch, it's crazy.
Yeah, and a huge credit to the USGA, the Walker Cup coming to Cyprus is off the charts. That there's going to be a high profile event there. It is United States against Great Britain and Ireland at Cypress Point, Peacock and Golf Channel. So it's September 6th and 7th. It says live coverage begins Saturday, September 6th. There's Peacock broadcasting 9:30 to 12:30 Pacific time. Golf Channel showing it from 4 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. So you can get a really good look at the best amateurs from the U.S. and from Great Britain and Ireland playing against each other. It's their version of the Ryder Cup at Cyprus. It's going to be insane. And then again, make sure that you watch our video from Cyprus that is now out. If you're listening to this, it should be out here on Tuesday, and that video will just live forever. So make sure you check that out. Thanks as always for listening, and in a very fitting fashion, hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.